Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Apparently, the Miami Dolphins are trying to trade cornerback Jalen Ramsey. This is something that their general manager, Chris Grier, said during a news conference on Tuesday. So this isn't an uncited, anonymously sourced report. The general manager of the Miami Dolphins said they would like to trade Jalen Ramsey. The quote is, after a couple of weeks of discussions between ourselves internally, Jalen and his representation, we decided it was probably in the best interest for all parties to move forward. I will say these decisions aren't done quickly. They're not taken lightly because we spent a lot of time this offseason working through this, talking through things. At the end of the day, Jalen did not ask for a trade. So he's very clear they went through the process. But Jalen Ramsey is at a point in his career now where he's nearer certainly the end of his career than the beginning. He's 30 years old. He'll be 31 in October. And this is a massively accomplished player in Jalen Ramsey, who is a former Pro Bowler and All-Pro player. I mean, I could read the bio for you, but many of you are familiar just knowing that he's been really good. He won the Super Bowl with the Rams. He's a 3-time first-team All-Pro, but the last time was in 2021. He is a 7-time Pro Bowler. He won the BCS National Championship when he was at Florida State, the Jameis Winston team. He's a former consensus All-American. This guy was the 5th overall pick of the draft back in 2016. So you were talking about a dude with accolades galore. But the challenging thing about Ramsey is that he's at a point in his career now where you wonder, what's the investment? What is it worth with the investment? So he went from Jacksonville to the Rams, then in 2023 to Miami, where he spent the last 2 seasons, and now Miami's looking for a trade. The Ross Jackson has a piece up at LouisianaSports.net where he talks about what the cost might be for Jalen Ramsey. And what's notable about it is that Ramsey's salary, the Saints, if they hypothetically did a trade for Jalen Ramsey, they would take on about $21 million in new salary. Well, the Saints have $28 million currently in cap space. So they could make it work. And with the contract, you could structure it, you could restructure it like they always do. So you could lower the cap number this year and move money or add years onto the back of the deal, however it may be. The question you have to ask is that something you want to do, adding a 30-year-old, soon to be 31-year-old player, expensive player, to your roster? And I think the real answer is, do you think you're close to winning? And this is the question that we go round and round and round with the New Orleans Saints. Are you a team that feels like you are even remotely close to competing? Now, I don't believe they are. Before we even knew about the Derek Carr injury, Vegas has the Saints win total over under at 5.5. Clearly, the opinion of this team in 2025 is dramatically different on Airline Drive than it is everywhere else in the football-loving world. They think they're contenders, hence why they went and spent money on Justin Reed and spent money to re-sign Juwan Johnson and Chase Young. It's why they went out and added Dylan Radins. I mean, they went out and spent money in free agency thinking they're contenders, adding Brandon Cooks. So if the New Orleans Saints feel like they are contenders, cornerback is one position of desperate need. Like, that is an objective truth. The 2 guys that were your starting corners week 1 a year ago are no longer on your roster. Paulson Adebo is in New York with the Giants, and you traded Marshawn Lattimore to Washington. So you look at it now, and you drafted Kool-Aid McKinstry, who very likely will be a starter this year, and you've got Alontae Taylor, who, as we noted prior, was one of your lowest-graded defenders by Pro Football Focus last year. He was actually very bad as a boundary cornerback because that's not Alontae Taylor's spot. He's a nickel or he's a safety. And I think he could be a great one. He's just not a boundary corner in the NFL. So if you felt like you were knocking on the door of a championship, and boy, you needed to address boundary corner, and you could add Jalen Ramsey, albeit on an expensive deal, a one-year deal, it would make a lot of sense because you were all in to win now. This, though, is the antithesis of what I think the Saints should be doing. But judging by their actions, they have not mapped one iota to what I think they should be doing. And you could say, yeah, well, you're an idiot, bald-headed, bearded dork who looks like a thumb just yelling on the radio. And you're right. I'm all of those things. But I also picked the Saints to win 5 games last year, and I was right. And I've also been the guy sitting here yelling for 2 years now that it is time to hit the reset button on this organization. And I think most, if not all of you, have come around to that line of thinking, realizing they're not close to winning. So would I love to have Jalen Ramsey on the New Orleans Saints? Yes, because I think at this very moment, 30-year-old Jalen Ramsey is a better cornerback than Kool-Aid McKinstry and Alontae Taylor. He is an upgrade over either of the guys you have. I think that is an objective fact. However, I can't justify giving an asset to Miami to trade for Jalen Ramsey, to have a 30-year-old cornerback for 1 year on a bad team that's giving away a future asset that allowed you to get younger and more affordable to be on a team that's not going to win anything. That's the problem. I keep saying they need to get younger and less expensive. Jalen Ramsey gets you older and more expensive. It's the opposite of what you should be doing right now if you're the New Orleans Saints, which means this is precisely what they're going to do. Now, it is worth noting that Jalen Ramsey and Saints defensive coordinator Brandon Staley have a great relationship. That's why this has come front and center. When the NFL put out the tweet back on February 21st that the Saints had hired Brandon Staley as the defensive coordinator, Jalen Ramsey from his official Twitter account went quote tweeted the NFL and put "my guy" with an exclamation point. Brandon Staley they were together in Los Angeles. Staley, in some quotes, has credited Jalen Ramsey with him becoming a head coach because he's like, that's because that guy was so awesome. It's why I was able to become a head coach with the Chargers. So those two have a very, very good relationship and have for a long time, which is why a lot of people have tied them together. Back in 2022, Jalen Ramsey did an interview where he talked about Brandon Staley, comparing him to Charles Woodson.
Me and Coach Staley, we still talk every week, dang near. So he knows me pretty well. Obviously, he's gotten to know Derwin pretty well. Me and Derwin know each other extremely well. So, like Coach Staley, that's my favorite player. That's been my favorite player. So just we used to always watch film on Charles when he was here. I still do. And then I was asked to do certain things while he was here. That maybe he got those comparisons from a little bit. It's kind of the same with Derwin, like in the safety role of it.
I mean, he's sitting there talking about Brandon Staley and how that was back in 2022 when Staley was with the Chargers, saying like, he's my favorite coach. Woodson was my favorite player. I still talk to Staley every day, he said, or every week. I mean, those two have a really good relationship. So internally, I bet Brandon Staley is banging the drum in New Orleans to try to bring in Jalen Ramsey. But I think sometimes, y'all, it's like, man, dude, it's like a diet, man. Like, yes, it's fun to eat ice cream every day if that's what you want to do, if you love ice cream. But sometimes you got to realize, while that's fun and delicious, that's probably not the best thing in the world to do. You should probably mix in a vegetable and drink a glass of water. That's what this feels like. The Saints are out there, like with the with a half gallon of Bluebell with the spoon going straight into it every day. Like, sure, that tastes great, but that's not the best path forward, man. That's actually a very unhealthy path forward. Restructuring Derek Carr, restructuring your aging veterans, signing someone like Jalen Ramsey at 30 years old that's going to count more than $20 million against your cap this year, which would probably force you to kick more money into future years, and you have to give up an asset to do it. Like, the discipline's the hard thing to do. To say, you know what? I'm going to drive past the ice cream store, and I'm instead going to go to the gym because that's better for me. One's really fun, one is not. One nets good results, one nets bad results. What decision are you going to make? It doesn't even have to be that. It could be homework or whatever the thing is in life that you want to compare it to. The thing where you have to sometimes make adult disciplined decisions. And that's something the Saints routinely refuse to do. And it's why they're in the spot they're in. So, yes, I would love Jalen Ramsey. No, I do not want to give up an asset and pay over $20 million for a 30-year-old cornerback who is a rent player, not a buy player. He's a short-term rent player on a team that's going nowhere and doesn't even have a quarterback. So when you've got debt, you don't go to the store and buy a $400 jacket because you think it looks sweet. You eat ramen noodles, get a second job, and pay off your debt. Like, that's where the Saints need to be in life, but they just keep applying for new credit cards. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.